Inside Foos presents FoosTalk Live. Coming to you live from the studios of Inside Foos, it's the 116th episode of FoosTalk Live. We want to wish you a very happy, safe 4th of July. Brought to you by InsideFoos.com, offering monthly subscriptions with access to some of the most exciting matches ever recorded, plus live tournaments, pre- and post-show analysis, interviews, and original programming. Sign up now at InsideFoos.com. Also brought to you by ProtectoFlex, the world's premier foosball safety accessory. Go to Protecto-Flex.com. Brought to you by RodLock. Practice more, reach less. The best practice tool in foosball. Visit rod-lock.com. Brought to you by 518 Prints, one of the best printers of promotional items in foosball apparel. Visit 518prints.com. Brought to you by Foosballers, the movie. This Joe Hessling of foosball documentary is now available as a worldwide download at foosballersthemovie.com. Also brought to you by the USTSO, helping to usher in a new era of competitive foosball. Become a member at usafoosball.com. And brought to you by Foosball Clubs USA, promoting foosball through school systems all over the United States. Visit foosballclubsusa.com and make a donation today. Well, as you may have noticed, we're celebrating the 4th of July. I'm Tom Robinson. Thanks for joining us for episode number 116. And you know that conversation about foosball is always a whole lot more interesting when you've got someone to share it with, such as everyone's favorite friend on the 4th of July, the one you need for your backyard barbecue when it comes to smoking. Here's Adam Gilson. Hello, Adam.
Hey, Tom, how's it going? Hello, everybody out there. It's great to be with you here on
Happy
this Sunday.
4th, man. Happy
Pre-4th of July.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's technically, I think a lot of people are celebrating today, don't you think?
Yeah, actually, I just came from a little pre-4th of July potluck here at my parents' retirement community that I live at, and it was a lot of fun. And speaking of barbecue, my mom did her secret special char siu pork recipe, marinated a bunch of pork tenderloins last night, and I grilled them up.
What was, you have to say that again, char siu pork?
Char siu pork, yeah. So it's a pork that's been marinated overnight, and basically a bunch of Chinese spices, I guess, for lack of a better term.
Chinese spices, okay.
Chinese spices, sure, yeah. The 5 Chinese spices would be the primary flavor, then ginger, garlic, all the classic hits. But it's a beautiful thing, and you'd serve it with some nice green onions chopped over it and hot mustard.
Oh,
it's good stuff.
You come from a long line of fancy eaters.
Yeah, my mom's tastes in food are really eclectic, and so are my dad. So I have my toolbox. If my ability at foosball was anywhere near the stuff that I could cook, then I'd be way better. How about
I
that?
have an idea. For
Yes.
future foosball tournaments you attend, perhaps you could cater. I don't know.
Sure.
So we could actually eat better.
I'll make one. Get me a grill. Me and Noah Rosenstein. We'll grill up some
That
foods.
would be something, right? So, having like a regional tournament, let's say in California, you show up for the tournament and guess who's there? Adam and Noah doing their thing.
Yep. There you go.
I dig that. Well, I also have a great 4th of July intro for our good friend out of Dallas, Texas, who, by the way, is the reason this podcast exists in a technical sense. By the way, 4th of July is also his birthday. Hello, Clay Toomey.
Oh,
How goes it?
So, being born on the 4th of July, what's that like?
It's the same as being born on August the 17th. I don't really remember a whole lot about it, to be honest.
hey, you missed my birthday by 2 days.
2
August
days?
the 19th,
15th.
the day that Elvis died.
How did you know that? August 15th.
I'm Rain Man status with numbers.
You are.
Yep.
Wow. That's extraordinary. Man,
1977.
77. Now that I knew, but August 15th, that doesn't lock in.
Yeah, I mean, we can verify it, but I'm pretty sure August 15th, 77 is when it might be the 16th, but I'm pretty sure it's the 15th.
That would make sense. Now, are you one of those individuals who can go back to a specific date in your history as a human being on the planet and say August 15th, 1977, I was doing thus and such, and tell us what you did in detail on that day?
Well, I was born in 79, so I can tell you exactly what I was doing in any day of 77. And it was August 16th, by the way. I was off by a day. I missed it. Oops. But I think he actually died on the 15th, and I didn't find him until the 16th.
Ooh.
So that's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
Ouch.
No, I don't have that kind of a memory where you can like, hey, what was the weather like on February the 3rd, 1984? Like, I don't have that. And I do have a good memory when it comes to, dates and numbers and anything like that. And it's not really intentional a lot of times. Like, I don't particularly care that Adam's birthday is August the 15th, but I promise you I won't forget it. And that's just how I go sometimes.
You've locked it in. Okay, so we know what Adam does for the 4th of July. What pray tell do you do for the 4th of July?
I hide. It's the 4th of July and fireworks are legal in my neighborhood. And I run for safety. I actually usually go for a drive. I probably don't plan on it this year just because I don't do a whole lot of driving these days. But typically what I've done in the past is, early during the day, my two kids go with their mom to her family, and they celebrate all day. And then I avoid text messages pretty much all day because my phone is blowing up with everybody knows my birthday. So it's
that would be an easy one to remember.
I get a lot of communications on the 4th of July because it's not only is it the 4th of July, but people remember that it's my birthday and they're off of work and it's just part of their partying.
I love it.
And so I usually just turn off the phone and go for a drive or something like that. Tomorrow I will be editing podcasts and doing other tech stuff. Not a big celebrator, I guess is what I'm saying.
Okay.
So,
well, yeah. I mean, fireworks come in all different types. And sometimes we can eat them. Sometimes we just, enjoy something we like to do.
I love eating fireworks.
Yeah.
I love my food spicy. I like something with a little pop.
Like Adam, right?
Yes, exactly like Adam.
Why am I in this conversation?
Why am I?
Get this thing back on the rails. Well, yeah. Wow, just letting things fly here.
I love it. I love letting things fly. By the way, speaking of letting things fly, Tom, when you're conducting in 4/4, which that song is, the Star Spangled Banner. You do a box down, right, up, and then it's a left, and then that's the downbeat for one.
Oh, okay.
1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2.
Okay.
What about 6/8?
6/8.
You would normally do that in 1 2 1 2 1 2, but you can do if you do it in if you count out all 6 beats, it's 1 2 3 4 5 6 3 4.
Well,
5, 6.
What about 7/8?
It's 1 2 3 4 5 6 7. Wait, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7, and then you can do it the other way depending on if it's on the third beat or the fourth beat for the accent. It's 1 2 3 4 5 6 7.
I'm saying, I have to stop you there. Both you and Clay tonight have just made me feel like a cultural rube.
No,
I'm just like,
no.
No idea about any of this stuff. The fancy
yeah, no, I just, I conduct and teach music, so I just happen to know that. I wouldn't normally know that, but the breadth of knowledge that you have for those things, like the other end of it, you're Mount Everest and I'm like a little I don't know, a
Okay,
molehill.
Tom, we'll put it on Adam and we'll start talking about processing. Tell me about the DBX in the background there. Tell me about your gear. Let's talk compression. Let's talk noise gates. Let's talk all that.
The floor, the ceiling, all
Who's
that.
the Rube now?
Yeah, right. Well, it is actually the aftermath of the World Cup that we probably should discuss at some point here. I mean,
fair enough.
Well, we'll get around to it, I guess. But okay, so Jim Stevens is on vacation. He's doing his thing for the 4th of July. This weekend is with his family, and Mark is just coming back from France, where he spent 6 days with Inside Foos, and Mark and Miriam did some great commentary today, watching as Team USA was battling it out with Austria for the men's finals. Wow. That was
so. You watched it, Tom? Did you watch the
whole thing, shot to shot? Have to say, exceptional playing, of course. And I kept thinking about the strategy here. Now, of course, Team USA was at a slight disadvantage because of some of the players not being able to make it. Specifically, Ryan Moore and Rob Morris. Wherein they probably could have made the difference. Now, who's to say one way or the other? But I have a feeling that there would have been more options for Team USA to exercise to win.
Right, and I think it's important to note that nobody expected them to even get that far. I don't think.
No, they did terrific.
And the heart that Serge, of course, Serge and James Castillo have been playing for a very long time, and Michael Stahl, of course, the wild card, been playing for, recently in the last couple of years heavily. But it was a untested team. As top heavy as it was still untested in those situations, and you could see that throughout some of the higher stress moments. But still, the fact that they got to where they got, you got to give them credit for that, because that is amazing to me.
They took out Germany. For second
place.
That
was what I was.
They destroyed Germany.
Yeah. I woke up in the middle of the night. I'm sleeping on the couch, and I wake up at like 4:30 in the middle of the night. My phone's buzzing, and I'm like, "What's going on?" And I look at it. I'm like, "Whoa, okay." And then I went back to sleep. I was like, "That is shocking." So then I had to, of course, wake up for the finals.
And the finals were really. I mean, it was ball for ball for most of the time, until probably the last 5-6 points.
Near the end,
which is fine. I mean, I really got to say, I take my hat off to Michael Stahl. I mean, he really did do what he could. I mean, and this is tough situation. Now I understand that Todd Lafredo also suffering from a 101 degree temperature, is having a fever and just not feeling up to snuff, I guess.
So he's also suffering from being 101 years old. I mean, he's
now hold on.
Todd is not a teenager.
Todd is younger than me, so stop right there.
I exaggerate, and he's still a beast, by the way.
Yeah, no, you saw the way he was playing. I mean, defensively, he was just clutch.
Oh yeah.
Watching him play at I think it was the UK team, or was it? What's the thing? I don't know. It's just I see him when he comes up front and just takes control the way that he can.
Yeah,
is just so amazing. His defense lights out in that fourth match, or should I say fourth leg in that last match in the finals, was phenomenal.
Yeah,
absolutely phenomenal.
He finally took away that shot that the Austrian, I've forgotten his name now, who kept shooting on the push side, and finally Todd was like, enough of that. You're not getting that anymore. Which
and I think and I don't know, this is what I heard Mark saying, so this is what I'm going off of, but I know that Todd was sick, but I also know that Tony apparently had a allergic reaction to a medication. He was feeling really off, which makes sense, because I kind of saw him play a little bit off, not today though, but a day or so. But I don't know where that lands on the schedule. But I mean, talk about gutting it out and just playing through the pain, when you know that there's no other option. I think that's just so awesome.
That's a true champion, right? Getting up and regardless of how you feel, getting up and doing your utmost, and outplaying most people on the planet, even with 101.
And it's something that it's hard for me to relate to, because I will some days I won't even tie my shoes. I'll just walk around with untied shoes, because I'm just like, I don't need this.
Somehow I can see that.
Yes,
I can see that.
That's why I don't wear shoelaces.
I haven't worn shoes since May. I'm looking to see if I got back from Europe on May the 30th, and I'm looking. behind me to see if I've unpacked. Okay, this is what I do when I go on a trip and I come back. I still live out of my suitcase until all the clothes are dirty and I don't wash those. But if I don't use it, I don't take it out, and my shoes are still in a suitcase right now. I haven't worn shoes since May the 30th.
Sandals? I mean, socks?
Well, I'm barefooted most of the time.
Wow.
And I'm at home most of the time too. And if I just go drive around, but I have like these like little sandal, like I call them like flipper floppers, but they're not like the thongs where your toe, goes the thing. Yeah, there's not that kind of Croc. You wouldn't know that these are Crocs by looking at them.
You wear Crocs, Tom?
All the time. This is a house shoe. It's like this in the yard.
That's sport mode. You're wearing those in sport mode.
That's sport
mode.
You
know what sport mode is, right? That's what that is, right? You flip it up all the way. That's casual, right? That's regular. That's right. And then sport.
Sport.
What kind of sports? What kind of sports do you do in Crocs?
Hey,
not many.
What kind of sports do you do without Crocs?
What is this? A Zen riddle? I'm just asking a question to Tom here.
Yeah, but if you need to run, if you're out on if you're going for a walk, you want to have it in sport mode because just in case.
Yeah,
I feel like if I started wearing Crocs, I would have just given up on running at that point.
Yeah,
given up. Oh,
I didn't know.
These
I don't know.
I bought in California, by the way. In LA.
Okay.
The shoe store, $29.
That explains a lot.
Bucks. Yeah. In 2011, and I still have them.
So just out of curiosity, I mean, I know we don't do takeaways anymore, but from all the watching we did, does anybody have any takeaways? I mean, just something.
Yeah.
Anything?
Yeah.
Little nugget.
Takeaways of the World Cup. We're assuming that you mean.
Yeah.
Yes.
The World Cup. No. Your Crocs and sports mode. Clay, go.
Yes.
My takeaway is that it should change. The name of the ITSF should change from the International Table Soccer Federation. It should change to the ETSF, the European Table Soccer Federation, because I for some crazy reason thought that this was like a big global event. This is a European event that the Americans sometimes go to.
Right.
There's nobody from Asia that I saw.
I think Japan was there.
Yeah. Japan. Okay, Japan. So there you go.
The B flight or whatever that's called.
Okay, then that's my bad for not even knowing that. There were a ton. It was mostly like 1 out of every 4 players was German, and that's awesome that Germany has such a strong scene, and it explains why they're so freaking good at everything that they're doing in foosball.
Yes,
including their coverage is also superior, and I think that didn't really feel like a very international event. I mean, technically it is, but it's like a European thing. So my main takeaway was like, it wasn't as I mean, it is still technically international, but to me, when I hear international, I think of like global, which is on me. Well, and it's semantics and all this stuff.
It is a global village after all. So if we were talking about Mongolia being part of the competition, or
was China there?
I don't believe
I didn't see it.
Vietnam has a very strong table soccer presence, right?
Let me. You know what? While you're talking, I'm going to look it up right now because the rosters are right here on my.
But I picked a random couple of events and I went through and looked at the field, and men's singles it was literally 1 out of every 4 players were German.
Yes,
and then about half of that, so like 1 out of every 8 was French, and so basically, what is that, like 3 out of every 12 players? Is that how that math works out?
Something like that.
Yeah. 3 out of every 8 players, actually. Me bragging about my math and I can't do simple fractions. 3 out of every 8 players which is like 37% roughly, is either German or French. So, which is awesome for them to have those strong communities, but we sent like 7 people or whatever it was.
Yeah, well,
so I wish it was more like it was a bummer that as much as I wanted to watch, I didn't know anybody, and it was hard to know who to cheer for. And I do have like friends who aren't Americans, and there are even the ones who aren't friends, like just people that I like to watch. Like for example, Ben Wilfort. I enjoy watching him play. I saw him. First time I ever saw him play was at Tornado Worlds, actually several years ago, and he's good. He's really good,
real good.
And he's one of the Austrian players that he was on that team that won the Nations Cup on the men's side.
And
I like watching him play. So if I saw him on a table, I would be watching it. But I didn't really know who to watch or cheer for or whatever. So.
When Spradewen was playing, in that final match with Kevin. I've forgotten.
Say the last name. Yes,
I can't say his last name because I don't remember what it is.
Hunsdorfer,
right? So Kevin Hunsdorfer. I mean, fierce.
Oh yeah,
he's standing toe to toe with the greatest player on the planet right now, Tony Sprademan, and was not afraid whatsoever of Tony. And
Tony is undoubtedly the greatest tornado player. I think when you get into multi-table competition, the conversation gets a little more complex.
Yeah. He's still a very good multi-table player, though.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Looking at non-European countries, excluding the United States, you've got Tunisia, India, Japan, Spain. No, not Spain. Doesn't count.
Right.
Mexico and Chile.
So can you see the total players from each of those countries and combine them?
It's anywhere. Each one has anywhere from like 6 to 9 or so.
Okay.
And this was just the teams events. And that's in the D2 and the D1, Netherlands, Austria, Luxembourg. No, everything else is Europe. Yeah. Well, Kuwait.
Yeah.
So
Kuwait actually fielded a very good team as well.
Oh yeah, they were good. I was excited to see one of the gentlemen's name that I don't remember his name. He shoots, and I've seen him before shoot a closed hand push kick.
Z? You talking about Z?
Yeah,
he's from Bahrain.
Okay.
And you said he was playing with Kuwait?
Yeah.
He's played here in the States, and it is nasty.
It is.
It's a close-handed front pin that he sets up on the near side. And so he's shooting the push side, and it is lightning fast. It is insane.
Abdullah Al-Zayani.
Yeah, Al-Zayani.
Yeah, I call him Z. Yeah, I've seen him before, and I'm just like, whoa.
It's terrifying.
He did it like for one possession, and then he switched to a rollover, which is,
Oh, that's weird.
That's the best thing about this, right? When you're watching the World Cup, you get a chance to see how other people do this in other countries, what their go-to shots are. And we certainly dominate when it comes to with tornado tables, and people want to emulate. But there's a lot of the European tope, the pin shots. Those are amazing, and the quickness, the speed, especially with the pull kick and the push kick on the Leonhardt. I was surprised how fast those players were. Really.
Yeah, those rods are like feather light too.
Yeah. It's
by the way,
there's that video of Jim Stevens shooting that push kick on a Bonzini, and it looks edited. It's not. It's
the fastest shot ever.
I'm waiting. I'm going to wait patiently and make sure that you're not biting your tongue or have it in your cheek while you say this.
Is it edited?
It is. You know what? Who am I to say?
Well,
other than a very informed individual who has done a lot of edits to make things look like they're not. There are frames taken out of that. So the trick in that is to watch things that aren't his push kick. Go to that video.
Okay.
And you'll see things.
Know what? I've only the only video I've seen is just that. It's just that shot. It's nothing else. It's not any of the match.
Well, no. Even in that shot, you can see everybody gets faster for a moment. And when Jim says that this is the fastest foosball shot or whatever it is, he kind of grins when he says it.
Oh, is it?
I feel like I'm telling you that there's not a thing. Like Santa Claus is not real.
No. It's fine. That's like when he keeps saying he gets all those emails about the IPA of the week.
Yes.
I know. Yes. Wait, hold on a second now.
Yeah.
We do get emails about the IPA of the week.
I know.
So now Tom's doing it. Yeah.
Yeah. Now my Santa Claus is really. Wait, let's not talk about Santa.
No, now it's the Tooth Fairy as well.
No, kids watch this. So
okay.
We're just talking about what.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Incidentally, there will be no IPA of the week this week. I'm saving all the good stuff for Jim. So
good.
Sorry, guys.
Sorry. No, that's okay. I have, like I said, I was visiting some folks, and we're past the beer portion of the evening.
I'm hammered.
Wow.
You're proud to know that I've already consumed a full bottle.
Yeah. Oh, it's Essentia. That's the name of that water.
That is.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Is it Swiss?
Maybe. It's got the.
Check what kind of system they use.
Let's see. Hold on a second here. Let me check. Oh, it's
but yeah, so the foosball shot. Jim does have a really good push kick, and I bet it was even better back in the day. How about that? I'll just leave it at that.
This comes from Washington State, all the way from Washington State. Essential water. So
you know what's funny? I never say state when I say Washington, and I only say D.C. if I'm talking about Washington D.C. unless we're having a politics conversation where it's clear.
You are.
Am I in the minority on that?
You're treading on light ground here, semantically speaking.
Okay.
Yeah. So this is, if you want to get really technical, Washington State is what people usually use to distinguish that particular portion of the country. Although there is no such thing as a state of Washington in this part of the country. It's the what is it called? It's the District of Columbia, D.C., Washington, D.C. So you don't see that anywhere else, D.C., right? It's just Washington, D.C. is its own kingdom or something. I don't know. It's I have to look that up, but it's very odd. Washington, D.C.
So you're saying that y'all don't acknowledge the state of Washington, or you just don't call it that?
No, it's just when I refer to it because I want to make a distinction. It's the state of Washington.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah.
So you say Washington for the city, and then Washington State for the not city.
Washington D.C.
So you say all the syllables.
Mostly.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
There you go.
Don't ever get stuck in traffic there, though.
I wouldn't get stuck anywhere there. I would never go anywhere near there unless I was getting paid.
It's one of those places where, let's say 3:00 in the afternoon, if you're in what's called the Beltway, near the Capitol, you could sit. And now my GPS told me this, and this is like the first time I went there to lecture. I'm sitting in traffic, right? And it says on my GPS, I have 3.5 miles to go to my destination. It's going to take 52 minutes to get there. And it was accurate completely.
Yep.
So that's
those little monkeys inside the phone. They be knowing how long it's going to take, man. Them monkeys are smart.
I don't think Washington State has that issue necessarily, although maybe Seattle, but I doubt it's like that. But no, Washington D.C., man, it's its own bizarre thing.
Yeah.
And of course, we're talking about our nation's heritage. Why not? We talk about Washington, D.C., right? It's the 4th of July.
It is 4th of July. And well, it's almost.
Now, I wonder if Washington, D.C. has its own foosball scene.
Well, when I was there, I played in Baltimore, which is not crazy far away.
Right.
And they do have a
Maryland
good scene
States,
there.
yes. Yep. Or Maryland State, sorry.
You got it. I love it. Yes.
Maryland State.
Yeah. Now, did you watch today when you were watching the men's play? Did you watch the men's final or the finals?
The finals, like the last, what was it, like an hour?
Now, was the finals one match, or did you watch multiple finals?
Multiple. So you have the 4 sections. So singles.
Yeah, the 4 legs of the final.
Yep. So singles, doubles, singles, doubles. Watched the whole thing. That was.
I'm looking at Adam. He's looking for the truth on the roof. Hey, that's a good that has a nice ring to it.
Truth
on the roof.
My name is Clay Toomey, and I'm here for the truth from the roof.
So
Ruth.
So enlighten me, because I'm probably naive when it comes to what I just said. I have no idea what I just said. It's all across all sports. This is not a foosball conversation.
Okay. This is about, they will do this with baseball, basketball, football, everything, hockey. And so you have the Stanley Cup final. You have the NBA finals. And that's even those two. And it's the same format, by the way. Best of 7. Everything is all the same. Mm-hmm. And one says this and one says that. I am in favor of not pluralizing that which does not require it. So, for example, I'm here tonight and we're doing a podcast. We're not doing a podcast.
Right.
Multiple, right?
It's a singular one podcast.
Yeah. And so last night, I stayed up late and I fell asleep before the final happened. And I did watch the semifinal. I watched one of 2 semifinals. Mm-hmm. And so there were 2 semifinals.
Yes.
Right. There was this one here and this one here. So there were 2 semifinals.
Germany versus USA.
The winner of those semifinals played in one final match. And there are multiple legs in the match.
Yes.
It's not like the Olympics, where the Olympics is pluralized because there are multiple Olympic events.
Yes.
Right.
Okay.
And
That
so the Tornado Championships, there are multiple events, and so you put an S at the end of it. But inside of any given event, you have a final. That is the final match. You have quarterfinals because there are multiple quarterfinals, multiple semifinals, and then you have one final. It's not that important, but I just giggle sometimes.
You're correct. I mean, there again has to be, the distinction needs to be made. That if somebody says the World Championships finals, if you're talking about
so to me that says there's more than one thing, more than one final.
So if you're talking about women's finals and men's finals and senior finals and junior finals, yeah, I mean, or all those together, then that would be plural finals. But if you're talking about one men's final,
men's final, juniors final, women's final,
right,
seniors final. Those are 4 finals. And then, but it's still the men's final, the final match of the men's event, the final match of the juniors event, the final match of the wheelchair event. Like the final match is a final. I'm looking at Adam's wheels turning, and I wonder what it sounds like on the outside.
No, he's an English teacher. He's the one who knows this stuff.
No, that's I was actually just kind of paging through the results at the World Cup, and I was shocked to see Mark Crowell.
Oh,
and got 9th in over 63 singles there.
Wow.
I didn't even know he was going out there. So
I didn't know.
How old is Mark?
Over 63.
Well, yeah. But
well, I mean, the reason why I was even looking at that was because I wanted to give a quick shout out to FoosTalk Live super fans, Reese Roberts and David Zeman.
Yeah,
for getting let's see, in silver, that same category of over 63 singles. Zeman got second and Reese got Zeman got first, Reese got second, but then they won the over 63 classic.
Yeah, the classic doubles. Yeah, they took a gold. So
congrats to them.
Reese walks away with gold, silver, and bronze.
Wow.
Yeah, that's true. I was in fact today when we were doing commentary on Inside Foos, I had to point that out. I was like, because we were working with Zach Foreman, who's
you hopped on today.
Yeah, he was. He's
when were you?
I was on with Brad Lorene this morning, Eastern time, 8 a.m.
Wow.
But we did the entire seniors final. We did that we called that entire part of the tournament. Meanwhile, and this is something that was kind of interesting because meanwhile, right next door is the women's final. And they're going simultaneously, and the score is almost identical for both events. So they both went 40-40, and it was overtime. And the seniors finished not more than maybe 40 seconds before the women finished. So the men, it was Germany versus France, and Germany dominated France. Came back from quite a deficit, in fact, and dominated France in that final. And then it was the women. The women were battling back and forth. It was Liz Hill and her partner Christina Fuchs. So they were battling, of course, for the final, and went into overtime, and unfortunately ended up with a silver instead of a gold. But these both things were happening at the same time. I'm like, I wish we could see both things at the same time and commentate, going back and forth. In fact, Brad was kind of giving us the update on both tables as we were doing the commentary. But it's like, wow, I kind of wished we could have done the women's final.
Right. Yeah, that was one of the things that I was kind of my takeaway from it over the weekend, because there was so much foosball, and the DBTV did an excellent job. Pardon me, with it.
Yeah.
But I just wish that we could have seen more, because there was so much more in something like that. Every single matches of consequence, even the beginning stuff, right? And it would have been fun. Now, obviously, that's a logistical thing.
Well,
but more so that, but it's not like you're at Colorado State, right? I mean, there's the opening rounds of everything. There's 60, 70, 80 tables or whatever. You're not really caring if you see that, right? I mean, that's not that.
That's
But
probably true. But I mean, when it comes to World Championship, competition, you probably easily could get away with 5 or 6, even 7 streams during the majority of the tournament, because
right,
there are a lot of significant things taking place. And the other thing too is the crowd. I saw a few crowd shots, especially during the men's competition. I mean, it was probably 300-400 people in the stands,
yeah.
which I found like that's cool. And they're going back and forth, and of course there's cheering from both sides, and you know that was just that kind of atmosphere, man. That's electric. But
Well, yeah. I mean, and the finals today, like what the Twitch stream was what in the 500 range, a little above, a little below.
yeah, yeah. I mean, there was all kinds of things that we could have seen. I suppose if we'd had more streams at this, simultaneously. But that's for another time,
Right,
another day.
right.
Well, so this whole idea of the World Cup. One of the things that I find a little disconcerting, and this, Clay, I think you mentioned this earlier, is the fact that it's the quote unquote European World Cup or the World Championship. When is it, or if it will ever be held here in the States? Because I think it's legit. If let's say the countries that win most often: Germany, France, United States, Austria, Netherlands. Pick a different country every year instead of going back and forth between Germany and France and Spain.
Yeah, well, I actually looked this up the other day, and it's been in 5 countries,
Okay.
and most of those have, and it's been in not like 6 or 7 or 8 times. Like most of them have
Okay.
been there,
Yes.
and then it's also been in
Hamburg, Germany.
yeah, it's been there a few times, and then a couple of
Murciaga.
other. It's been, and then other places it's been there like once. And frankly, I can't imagine why they would bring it to the States, because we're the only ones who are, like getting screwed by that. So it wouldn't make like, for every if I don't I'm making this number up just for the sake of saying something that makes sense, but just make it up. Say that 10% of the players that go, 1 out of every 10 players is an American, and that means 9 out of every, and then 1 out of 10 is 1 out of 10 is from Asia or somewhere else really far away, and
Mhm.
then 8 out of 10 is from Europe. So it wouldn't actually logistically or logically make sense to have 8 out of 10 players come to the States. So
Mm.
I get why it's not here, and it would be such an expensive event if they had it here in the States. And I think it's
Mm.
actually,
Probably
I
true.
don't think it's feasible to have it here. It's a bummer for us, and it would be more fair if it moved around,
Hmm.
and and got a little more action somewhere outside of Europe. But I also think that it's not something that we could hope for anytime soon, because I mean, you have to consider, fun. It's the same reason that you don't see Mary tournaments, IFP tournaments in California. Like it doesn't make sense.
Right.
It's too expensive.
Right.
And you see other tournaments like Portland has their tournament, Moneyball. There are some things that happen outside of Mary's,
Oh,
travel range,
Texas State.
but there's a reason that most of her tournaments are within a certain vicinity of Lexington, and it just makes sense. It would be silly to say, "Hey, Mary, how come you don't have tournaments in Europe?" Well, because that's crazy. Like,
Yeah.
like it doesn't. And ITSF is something else I learned in the last few days. ITSF, and I'll go ahead and just accept that I'm going to get hate mail over this one. They're like the global IFP. It's not like an actual. It's not like it's ran by a few people who make decisions based on what's good for them, and not necessarily the whole of the globe.
Yes.
A global foosball is not their best interest. It's a European thing, so it makes sense. It's all good, and I can't imagine anybody believing otherwise if they remove their emotions and check in with what their brain is telling them. But yeah, I mean, it doesn't make sense for the ITSF to come to America unless somebody with a fat check is willing to make that possible.
Yeah,
I mean, they would have to have all those tables. I mean, they would have to ship I mean, that was the controversy with Tornado last year, right? I don't know.
Was
something related to getting tables over there or something like that, right?
It was because of the increase in cost to get the tables there.
Yeah. But
like
they couldn't get 30 Bonzini tables easily here. Just scrape them up. I mean, that's go down the line. I mean, there's Bonzini, all that other stuff. But and there's an interesting thing, and I don't know if this is true, but this was something that I found really fascinating. The play for the Americans on the Tornado tables looked a little bit stilted to me because obviously we've all been watching them a lot the last year, and I thought it was because of them having to table switch, which made some you lose this touch or maybe. But as the week progressed, I was being told that the balls were the balls that were shipped with the Tornado balls and not the ones that everybody uses at tournaments. Those are the I think those are.
They did say
I don't know.
that. There was
they're manufactured differently.
Yeah, there's discussion that the balls were slightly smaller
and slick.
Yes, not easily captured. The way a new Tornado ball traditionally is easy to capture, and it's got that fuzz, that rough.
But what texture. I'm asking, where are those balls coming from then? Is it foosgear.com? I don't know. I haven't bought Foosballs in a decade.
No,
decades.
I don't know.
They're manufactured in Europe.
Really?
So it's a whole it's a whole different process.
Wait, the ones that come with Tornado tables?
The ones that people No. The ones that come with the table here are the same ones that you buy at tours. And here's the thing. We don't even have the same balls from year to year here. So it's not like we have this magically consistent ball here in the States either. And so it's just a different iteration. We always have our balls have always been a problem. And
especially when you get kicked. It's a real problem.
Wrong podcast. No, I think I'm just being silly. I think I would love to see somebody put a micrometer on it and measure the balls themselves to see if they're actually smaller. Because people will say things like that without knowing what they're talking about. People will swear to you that Bonzini has a larger goal than Tornado. People will say, "Oh, it's way bigger. It's why it's easier to score."
Well, hold on a second. Now we had this discussion during the telecast or the stream. Brad Lorraine actually physically measured the width of the goal on the Leonhardt, which is 6 balls wide, whereas the Tornado is 5 1/4 balls wide.
That's a highly scientific measurement.
I was all prepared to be like, I wouldn't trust that man with a ruler, and he didn't even use a ruler.
Love you, Brad. Point made, though. I'm on the coast.
How many corn dogs wide was it, Brad?
Yeah, exactly. No, put a tape measure on it, for the love of God. And I'll tell you that the Tornado and Bonzini have the same size goal. Now, height is different, obviously.
Yeah.
But the width of those two goals are the same. I would bet money that the Leonhardt is the same too. And when I bet money, just for anybody who wants to make that gamble, we're measuring it with something that isn't balls.
Well, my good buddy Nino has all 5 tables in his basement. He has the Tornado, he has the Bonzini, he's got the Leonhardt. So I'm going to go there and we'll measure, and I'll get back to you.
You should, yeah.
Tom, tell everybody what I asked you the other day.
You asked me.
What did I message you about?
You wanted to know about if I knew anybody who had a Bonzini table that we could measure.
And you told me
that Nino DeJean has a Bonzini
So I actually
table.
did message him. That's why I can say that. And I trust Nino's measurements, by the way.
Okay.
And he told me that, that's the Bonzini is 8 inches wide. And I have a Tornado, so I can measure my own holes. and the Tornado hole is 8 inches wide. So those two are the same.
Identical. How about the height? Yeah. What about the height from the floor of the surface of the table? What's the height of the back of the goal?
Well, you can look at that and just see that. I mean, the Bonzini and the Leonhardt, or the Leonhardt especially, they they have a little, like a backdrop or like a backstop. Yeah, they are tall.
Yeah,
they go beyond the table, so that's why that part is easy to see.
Yep.
And I think that's actually why it looks funky. It plays tricks on your eyeballs. Like the table surface itself, also not the same size.
Okay.
Tornado is like a half inch more narrow and a full inch shorter than Bonzini. Bonzini's a little bit wider and a little bit longer. Okay. Goal's the same,
but sloped in the corners because there's only one. There's no 3-man on the goal.
Of course, yeah.
So that also kind of comes into play there too. Although,
well, the slope doesn't come into play nearly as much as the extra man comes into play for people who aren't used to Tornado.
Yeah,
like that wingman that we call it, because to play because we don't have ramps. That causes more problems than two non-Tornado players. Those little extra men cause way more problems than the ramps cause for us.
It's interesting. I saw this happen a lot over the last week, where when American players were playing on their non-native table, they would do a muscle memory thing where they would hit where they were poking around on the 3.
Yeah.
Sometimes, but they'd hit it forward to try to bounce back, as they were losing it, and it's all because it's not there. It's ramped. Yeah.
It's like not having your hand cut off.
Well, very similar, yes.
I can feel it. I know the hand is there, but it's not.
What do they call that? Phantom pain or phantom nerves or something?
Phantom 3-man, I think is what that is.
Phantom 3-man.
Yeah. Phantom. So was there any big surprises for any of you this last week?
Yes.
Okay.
Can I just go on record and say that I will gladly admit that I was wrong about how strong the men's team from the States was going to perform. And I think that most years we'd see a second place and go, come on, guys, you're better than that.
Right.
Like, we expect gold because we have the best, especially in that category. We have the best players. And if Billy and Ryan are there, and I'm not even going to name names. If our top players go, we win gold.
Yeah.
And so when I found out who was going, and it's nothing against them, but they're not the number one top tier players from the States, and I did not expect them to go and get silver, and that final was winnable, by the way. Then after hearing Tony was ill, didn't play men's singles because he was ill, and Todd was having issues, I'm thinking, whew, this is going to be tough. And holy crap, did they just completely prove my expectations to be worthless. And they killed it. Even with, I struggle to celebrate second place, but I think that was a massive accomplishment.
No, it was huge
this time.
No, it was much. I thought for sure the finals were going to be either Austria and Germany or Germany and France. I really was convinced of that way before, all this came down. And I have to say too, that, I wonder about and this is all hindsight, right? Hindsight's 2020. If they had taken Terry Roux, who played singles in the first leg, if they had taken him and put him in place of Michael Stahl, let's say, and put Michael in that first tier as a singles player, would that have changed the outcome any? Would it have been?
Are you talking about for the finals?
Yeah, for the finals. So, in other words, Michael played instead of Terry Roux in that first round of the final as a singles player, which he's very good at. And then, of course, keep Serge and Sparky in that second set of doubles, and then, of course, Tony in the singles. And then the finals, you'd have Todd and Terry. I wonder if that would have been a different outcome.
Yeah. It potentially, like, my issue with that, outside of everything hindsight, obviously, what you preface this with, is that Michael's a good singles player, and I saw him against the Great Britain, pulled it out. I think he was 10-9 or something. It was really close. It was close enough that it was like they kept him even, right?
Oh yeah.
And then the thing that I don't know how to answer that is that the person who Terry Roux played that first round, I have never seen before. So I would have trusted all the rest of them to know, Tony's there. They all would have known that person. I'd never seen him before. And I think they thought it was more important to put him, especially because they had been having success in the previous matches with that setup. Because I don't know.
It worked. I mean, it had been working all along. And that's what got them into the finals, for sure.
But I mean, I saw, all I can say is this, I saw how hard Terry Roux played.
Yeah.
And because I want to hear what Clay's response to this, but like my takeaway, and there's a lot, and it's still settling because it just ended this morning, right? But I feel like I saw a resurgence of Terry Roux this last week.
Yeah.
Like seeing him play in a way that, and focus, that I have never seen him play. I haven't seen him play like that in years. And I'm just like wondering, maybe it's just the World Cup. Maybe that's just what it does to him. I don't know. But man, when he was, there was never like, I think we sometimes say when Terry Rue's on, he's just unstoppable. He's good.
He's
He
amazing.
was just on.
Yeah.
He was just on. He was just doing his thing. And that was just something that's really stuck with me, seeing that. But I saw him playing as good as I've ever seen him play. And it was still 10-9. So where does Michael go in that situation? I don't know. And what kind of pressure does that put on Serge and James? I don't know. So it's a fun guessing game, but I don't know. Clay, what do you think?
I think you start powerfully if you can. And I think among the 6 players who were out there in those 4 legs, I think, and it's no disrespect to Stahl, but I think he's the weakest player on that 6-man team.
Least
You're
experienced.
not
Least experienced.
Also the least good. I don't just mean he hasn't experienced that much. I mean, he's really awesome, but he's not better than anybody else on that team.
Right.
And so it feels rude to say that, but it's not an emotional thing that I'm saying. It's just, to me, I'm just my opinion. And so to put him in that first leg, to where it's important that 10-9 start is important, even though it's, you're only up by a goal going into the next one, but like to go into that second leg 10-9 instead of 7-10,
sure,
being down 3, and now you put Serge and Sparky starting their piece of it with a 1-goal lead is monumentally bigger than a 3-goal deficit. And even if Stahl, I don't think that he's going to do better than Terry did. So I'm not going to say it would have been 10-8 or 10-7 in his favor. I think best case scenario, he might have done like 7 or 8 versus 10. And that little difference puts unneeded pressure on Sparky and Serge. And I think, I just think that stuff matters. And if you're gonna, playing with Todd is probably the best spot. That's not even considering the opponents, by the way, because I agree with what Adam said about, those our teams know their opponents better than I do. And so without even taking that into consideration and only looking at our team, maybe Terry plays better with Todd and maybe they have a better final leg or whatever. But I look at it as if you're gonna try to hide a weakness, I think you do it in doubles and not singles. Because Todd can you can switch. You can have him in your ear coaching you while you play, which is massive, by the way. In singles, you don't have that unless you call a timeout.
Right.
Like there's a lot of things that benefit Stahl in doubles that don't exist in singles. In 2 years or whenever the next ITSF World Cup is, if they send that team and those players, and maybe the answer is different then. But for that group of 6 who were playing, I can't imagine that the lineup. The lineup was laid out well.
Yeah,
and they just fell a little short.
Yeah, it was so close, really.
Yeah.
I mean, right until the last 5 or 6 points, it was so close. So
yeah, going into the last leg, it was 10-9, 8-11, 11-10. So it was like 29 to 20 to 30. Right? Yep. That sound about right? Or, yeah, 29 to 30 in favor of Austria. Austria.
Yep.
And then, Ben Wilfort, he's good on, by the way, I said this to Adam earlier in a private message. If that last leg was only played on Tornado, it still might have ended like that, because Wilfort is really good on Tornado.
He is. He scored more than I expected him to. I thought, there would be moments there where he wouldn't be able to get through Todd on the Tornado, but he did.
It would have been harder. It would have been more difficult, but I don't know that the result would have been different. And maybe people don't agree with that, but I think very highly of him as a Tornado player. And then going to Garlando didn't help at all. But even with the switches and even all the other things, I mean, just at some point you just got to say that they were just better. Yeah. Austria was just better.
Yeah, really tough.
Hopefully we do something happens differently next time. But that last leg was brutal. It's tough.
Yeah, it's just a thrill amount to watch. I mean, as a fan, I just ate that stuff up. I literally stood in my kitchen my wife's like, "What are you doing?" Well, I'm watching the match. I got to watch the match, man. I can't. She's like, "Well, we were supposed to go out and blah blah." No, just give me this one thing. I gotta watch this. It's like
Isn't it cool to have something to cheer for like that though? Like
Right?
even though even though they didn't win the gold, dude, like we don't usually get to experience that in the States with foosball. Like we go and it's our friends playing against our friends most of the time. And even if it's our friend playing against somebody that we hate, you still just kind of sit there quietly and dude, cheering and getting excited and
yeah.
Oh
I
my
was
gosh.
watching it.
It's awesome.
I was streaming it on my parents' big old TV, and we're all in there shooting and yelling, and I'm standing like this, watching like the women's doubles final, and I'm like, God, they're like, oh my God, what do you But after a while, because they're both my parents are competitive, they're like, they're into it too, and it was just awesome. It was a great experience to get to experience with them.
Yeah, and the women did so well they were so close. I mean, it was right down to the final ball with that as well. I mean, it was overtime for
it went overtime, right?
Yeah,
it was 43-41.
Yeah, that was the final score, 43-41. And it was ball for ball, and my hats off to Christina and Liz. I mean, they're just fierce against that.
They got a lot of history together too.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
Those are two of my favorite people in foosball and in life. I love their fieriness, their competitiveness, and it's just amazing.
Oh yeah. No, that made it all worthwhile, and to walk away with silver, hey man, there's no shame in that. No shame in that, especially with those kind of odds.
Yeah, the only silver I have are in my teeth. That's not even true. I have no fillings.
No fillings?
Nope.
Really?
Never had a cavity in my life.
Wow, that's man. That Clay, can you make the same claim?
I could before I went to prison. They don't have the best dental care there.
Oh
no. I think I only have one cavity. I don't have any silver. I don't have any.
This says something about the generations in the 60s. I mean, I can't tell you, how often I'd go to the dentist and they'd find the reason to break out the drill, man. Well,
I think it's a genetics thing too, to some degree, because my mom's the same way. My dad has not been, and my son, he's 5. Speaking of my mom,
okay,
she is in the corner. She's all on cue.
I want to
that's
my
son.
There too. Okay.
Yeah, that's my son. His ears were burned. Yeah, he's got 5 cavities, and he brushes and flosses. He's been on that regimen since too. So, but my wife's teeth. She's from West Virginia.
Oh,
and they don't have a good track record out there.
Mountain Mama, is that the rest of that? I don't know.
Take me home.
Yes.
Are you talking about dueling banjos? Dueling banjos. It was a big hit back in the day when Deliverance was at the movie theater, and that's kind of like the unfortunately the euphemism when we want to discuss people who live in the mountains.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I quit eating bacon after I watched that movie for like a weekend, and then I was back on the wagon.
Say, not for long.
Yeah. No. Then after that, I just.
It's the World Cup. Really, I got to say, this is something that unfortunately, it's always going to be in Europe. It's always going to be on the other side of the world, and we're going to have to travel to get there and spend a lot of money to be there. But it's still worth it, man. I mean, just for rubes like myself to watch. It's.
I was in this. Last night. I was thinking about this, and it's like. So everybody, when this started, when everybody was going again, and this is the first time I've been paying attention to foosball. It's been in the last year, so I really didn't watch it during the 2010s and everything.
Mm-hmm.
But I didn't really realize until I saw all the GoFundMes or whatever going out.
Yeah,
and I realized in my head I always thought that whoever's in charge of that here, the USTSO or something, had like a dues thing that went towards getting players to go out there. Otherwise, the incentive is not that great, right? Unless there's sponsorships. Like I don't know anything about any of that. But I'm like, is there like some pipe dream situation outside of one of us winning like the Powerball where it can be economically feasible for Joe Schmo that's talented but doesn't have the backing to go do it?
I mean,
and the GoFundMe could be the bridge.
It should be like that. It should be like if you're a regular player who goes out and tours, maybe hits four of the tour stops along the way during the season, you automatically get entered into this, let's say, fund that's established by an organization or group or promoter, or whatever the case, and a certain number of people who get selected to go to the Team USA for the World Cup get their fare paid by that fund. I mean,
I like it.
Yeah.
I will say right now that at the point where I know how the teams are selected and that's public and transparent and all that good stuff, that's the point where I'll support it with my dollars.
Okay.
And I'm not putting any money into any fund that I don't have any control over the money. You know, it goes back to like the good old days of when church was something that I cared about, and I would not give money to a church if I didn't know how they spent. Like, you mean to tell me that you are broke and can't fix the air conditioner at church, but you're driving a Corvette, bro? What? Like, that seems weird to me. So
yeah, there's something wrong with that. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
So for me, the first of all, it didn't take 10 grand to go to the World Cup. I saw some of those GoFundMe's are a little, it had some zeros added, but the I think it would. I think it's a bummer that money is the reason that people would not be able to go. If you're good enough and you're a competitor and you're our best, like, we should be offering to pay our best to go represent us, especially because there's no money.
I'm just pissed. Like, damn it. Like, I don't know. I want us to be out there and doing that. Like, we should. And it's not like some patriotic thing, although to some degree it is, but as a society, at least as a foosball community, we should be out there representing. And now I know there was different reasons, like you talk about the A team or whatever, like there was different reasons, everybody had different reasons, whatever, right? But on a year-to-year, well, every 2-year basis, like there should be some kind of institution in place that's very transparent and straightforward that, like, and I don't know. I've never thought about it. I don't know. I didn't know that it wasn't transparent until you just said it, Clay. Like, I don't know how it works, how the process works. I've had many people talk to me and say that they were told that if they won this, then they could be in that, but it wasn't that way.
Yeah.
Or they misunderstood something. And I'm like, okay. But I mean, that's like far down the lines for me. Like, I'm just sitting here thinking like, how do we make it so that anybody, even the ones that, you know, the people that put in their hours and dedication, go. They got to go. They should go.
So, like, just pick our best 6 players and answer this question. If you know the answer, tell me, and if you don't know the answer, don't tell me. Why did Billy not go play? He's our best historically, and based on match record, he's our best multi-table player in the history of our country.
The only player that I know that why they didn't go was just was Rob, and he was just, I think, something about a house.
Yeah. But nobody really knows. It's people think, people chat, and like behind the scenes will say, well, this and that, all that stuff, you know. But nobody knows, why did this person get picked? Well, they were next in line. Okay, but how? You know, like, nobody really knows.
What do you mean? I thought you meant.
I can tell you.
Well, I'm starting with why did this person not go, gotcha, and then they go down the list, and why is this person there? Well, because this person did. Like, who makes the list? Nobody knows. Who decides? Nobody knows. Why can they not go on our dollar? Nobody knows. Like, all these things end with this is the way foosball is. How do the points work? Tell me why you gained points last weekend. Nobody knows. Hey, person who owns the points, I can't tell you. Like, we just accept that. That's just how foosball players roll most of the time. Yeah. Hey, how come? Wait a second. This is a $25,000 tournament. I did the math, and there's $60,000 being brought in. Where's the other $35,000? I don't know. Like, I would rather be told, well, the other $35,000, I had $5,000 and this fee, and I had to pay $10,000 for this and this, and then the other $10,000 is in my bank because I do this for a living and that's my job.
Right.
Like, that would be okay. I'm cool with that. Okay, cool. Make your money. Yep. But what I hate is, hey, this is a thankless job, and how about just be thankful instead of asking all these questions? That's some Wizard of Oz nonsense. I ain't buying that.
Pay no attention to that man behind the curtain.
Exactly. And so I think there's a problem when our best don't go. And why aren't they there? Nobody knows.
Yeah.
You know, we can all gossip about it and talk about it, and, you know, but I've yet to have a single person say, well, I spoke to Billy and this is the reason. Well, I spoke to Ryan and this is the reason. I spoke to you know, go down the list of all our best players.
I know why
didn't Tommy York go there? College. Like, come on.
I know why Sammy Dijon didn't make it. I mean, he was
Baseball.
going. Yeah, baseball. Yeah,
baseball.
Baseball.
That's an easy one. Yeah,
and he also injured himself. He's got a shoulder injury.
Oh no,
injury.
That's
ouch.
not cool.
Yeah,
That's bad.
Yeah, like 2 weeks ago he injured himself. So that
speedy recovery to him, man.
Yeah,
That's
absolutely.
for
sure.
I know you bounce back when you're young, but still, like that kind of stuff.
Well, when I didn't see his name on the roster anywhere in the World Cup, I'm like, what's going on? So I just asked and found out. But it's man, sometimes stuff like that happens. What are you going to do?
Why was Brandon Moreland not there?
Right. Or
Nobody knows.
Blake Robertson.
Blake Robertson. Why was he not there? I don't know. Why did the Germans do a global event in German when 98.7% of the world does not speak German? I don't know. Why did I have to go to the Great Value stream? The Great Value brand, stream to watch. And now I can't watch it again because they didn't save the, I don't know.
Yeah. To say nothing of the conspicuous absence of our good friend Jim Stevens.
Why was he not there?
Right.
I don't know.
So
I don't know.
These are things that hopefully we'll be able to talk about here in FoosTalk Live.
I like what Leap and Lou says in the chat. Lots of NBA players skip the Olympics. You know why? Throw a guess out there. Because they're millionaires who do a thing that gets them paid millions of dollars. And if they go get hurt, they don't get paid millions of dollars.
Mm-hmm.
And when it was the dream team and the professionals were first allowed to play in the Olympics, it was like, we're going to go kick some ass.
Mm-hmm.
And then that was cool for a couple years. And then now it's no longer, the glory isn't there. Yeah. And the risk is massive. So,
right. Yeah.
And Leap and Lou also says, I gotta say, he was happy not to see Bonzini in the team finals.
Amen.
Now there's a conversation,
right?
Yes.
Yeah.
But Tom, you like Bonzini though?
Well, I mean, I do, and to watch Bonzini, I understand what it requires to play on the table. I did find it kind of curious that they're able to switch out the handles. They take the handles off like they're rewrapping regular handles. That's kind of cool. But if I had my druthers, if I were going to compete these days, I certainly would not want to compete on the Bonzini.
Bonzini is the trailer trash Tammy of foosball. And no matter how awful it gets, somebody's going to still have a crush on her. Yeah. That's just math.
Wow.
You are brutal.
Clay, I always like how I know you're about to say some real truth when you look up.
You are brutal.
That's your truth on the
roof. My truth is on the roof.
You always look up.
Yeah. Well, I'm thinking, how close am I to God? Because I might be meeting him soon if I say this out loud.
No. Yeah.
You're only saying the things that people are thinking. Okay, Clay, that's it. That's what you're doing.
And Leap and Lose. And if anybody else that has any questions about this or what you want to put and the best sides that you have for whatever you're going to have tomorrow, if in fact you're celebrating anything tomorrow, let us know. But if you have any World Cup questions, but also they appreciated the Facebook notifications on because there was no centralized area that we know of. So Inside Foos wasn't basically for the American leg.
Yes.
And I think that's what they did. DBTFDW, whatever they are in Cincinnati. They did it. So they set it up so that you could, so that each country handled their own thing.
Yeah.
My mom is holding up a plate.
You got Uber Eats showing up, man, right in the middle of the thing.
Come have food. Come have food.
Oh, you know what? I didn't lock the liquor cabinet before I came out here.
Oh my god.
But yeah, no, the Facebook. I thought they did a good job notifying everybody out there. That was that was nice of them.
I was able to get there easily to watch.
Yeah, and I can't believe how loud the Bonzini is.
Oh,
how is that so loud?
That goal?
Telescopic rods, man. Yeah. Did you say cool?
No. I mean, this is one of the things that, especially as a kid, the sound of that goal was like a bell going off.
I thought you meant the table, like the rest of the non-goal play.
You got that too because you've got the springs are bouncing back and forth. It's telescoping rods.
People are complaining. That's where most of the noise is when I play on Bonzini. Is me just cussing the whole time. Yeah.
To you.
That table sucks.
There it is. I'm not wrapping.
I didn't even have to look up for that. Yeah, that table sucks. But if you're good on that table, it is a massive advantage And that's why nobody has the advantage, because nobody's good on that godforsaken table.
The leap between being good on Tornado versus being good on Bonzini is something. It's something.
Yeah.
And it became so obvious in so many of those finals. I mean, it was and was it true to say, because I don't know, but I feel like in Europe there's more access to all the tables than there are access to all the tables here, right? I mean, I don't even know anybody.
No, that's
the only
true.
person I know that owns a Bonzini is Nino, and he lives on the other side of the country.
Right.
There's a couple down here. Terry has one. We have one in Dallas. I mean, they have a bunch in North Carolina probably. The thing is that over here, it's not so much that they have access to all of the tables and we only have access to one. It's just that all the tables happen to already be there.
Mm-hmm.
And so for them to, it's like if things that are here, for me to have something in Texas, it's not that crazy for you to get one in California.
Right.
And that's, the states are kind of set up the way that the countries are in Europe. So it's not hard for me to get a Warrior table here in Texas, even though they're made in California. It's not that big of a deal.
I've owned 7 in my lifetime.
7 Warriors?
Why
I won
7?
Them. I've won 7 Warrior tables in my lifetime.
Oh, you won them. Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
Dude, they have the coolest. I digress here, but I'm going to anyways. The blacklight table that they have, is so cool. It is so, like, for competition, I don't like Warrior, so I'm not gonna pretend that it's just the best thing ever. But like for funsy play, I love Warrior.
Yeah,
I freaking love it.
Yeah. We had a Warrior Open, I guess you could say, on this side of the country in Boston at Fenway Park in the Gentlemen's Club, or not the Gentlemen's Club, but the Players Club. On the property of Fenway.
That was a different.
I've got different real quick.
Right. Fenway Park.
English is a funny thing.
But yeah, to be playing at Fenway Park, that by itself was cool. But it was all Warrior tables, but you got competitive people like a Mike Philbrook there, and the rods were bent within the first.
I'm surprised he could even play on Warrior.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. I mean,
honestly,
they were seriously bent within the first round.
Yeah.
So you know what? I bet if you look really closely on if he plays on a table, if he shoots more than 10 shots, it might only take 3 or 4 shots on a Warrior table's 3-bar. Look at the actual table's surface, and I bet it's scratched, because when you shoot on Warrior and the table, the rod bends like that, the player figure will actually scratch the table. Yeah, it'll scrape off the table
with his shot.
It's a trip.
Not a surprise.
Yeah,
not at all.
Oh,
he's a terrifying player to face. By the way,
dude, the first time I ever met that guy, I didn't really meet him. I heard his shot from across the tournament hall.
Yeah,
it just sounds different. The way that Billy's 2-bar sounds different. I was like, whoa, who's dropping concrete onto leaden coffins? It just sounded.
And the tension he pushes down on the with the toe of the man on a tornado table, and it's like you couldn't fit even a millimeter or more or less underneath the man between the ball. I mean, it's just he leaves no space, and he's pushing down so hard, and he's just gently, very slightly rocking, very, very little. And then, if you sit right on top of that ball, you get right in front of it. He just takes that, whatever it is, he gets right around it, and it's hard and it's loud, and I still don't know how he does it. Still don't know.
Yeah, it's yes. Amen.
I wanted to give a little shout out to I just keep going through the winners of different things and at the World Cup, and just a shout out to the junior mixed doubles winners.
Oh yeah,
Isabel Stelly and Evan McGregor.
Yeah, Evan McGregor.
Good job,
Texas.
you two.
Yeah,
Evan, that is a heck of a field. I mean,
Isabel
Stelly and Evan McGregor. I covered the only 2 matches I got to do the entire time this past week were the under 19 girls doubles and the under 19 boys doubles.
Okay.
And all 8 of the players that we saw there were like pros.
Yeah.
Like pro level. They were amazing. So to see the field that Evan and Isabel won in, kudos to them.
Yeah, absolutely. And that was the first gold that USA took home for sure.
Awesome.
Yeah, really amazing. Here's the thing, Evan, I mean, really has just come on the scene this last year because of this back in February when he took the whole thing for the death, the tournament in Florida.
Thunderdome.
Thunderdome, yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
I wasn't going to help. I was hoping death would turn into something there. I liked where you were going with that.
The Death Eaters.
Bone.
Yeah.
Death Eaters International.
Death metal.
Yeah. But Thunderdome, that's where his reputation all of a sudden was solidified. Like, okay, this guy's somebody to watch. And then he goes over to the World Cup for the very first time and walks away with gold.
Yeah.
So, yeah, there's
not surprised at all. I was singing his praises a year before the Thunderdome. He's been good for a minute.
Yeah, and he's
getting better, by the way.
He is, and he's at that point now where the mechanics, the physicality, is going to start being. It needs to meet his mind, or the vice versa. His mind needs to meet what he can do. And we were talking a lot over the last week while he was up there, just about different things, and you can see him working through it. And it's going to be, and frankly, whatever once he realizes that being good at this is different than being good at some of the other things he's good at.
Yeah, right.
Because this is where there's somebody in front of you, moving man, and trying to beat you. Once that happens, and I think that's true for a lot of players, honestly. Once you start really letting your physical ability, get your mind get out of your way of what it is you're going to be doing, while also still consciously being aware, which sounds counterintuitive, but that's kind of what you do. At least for a template, right? Not everybody's the same.
Yeah.
But no, I think that if he wants to, he can be really good for as long as he wants to be.
I have to say,
I think the reason. Go ahead, Tom.
No, I was just going to say, not to jump the subject, but I really thought it was so cool that Isabel was signing autographs for her fans. That was.
Oh, I didn't see that.
No, she spent probably the better part of half an hour signing autographs. Because there are all these kids swarming around her. I don't know where they were from necessarily. I don't know.
That's awesome.
How they
because she won, or because of her reputation preceding her?
I'm not sure. I think that
it's an American flag, dude.
There it is.
They're all signing autographs. Tony, Terry, everybody on there is signing autographs.
But what a great thing for a young player to all of a sudden be a celebrity outside their own country.
I hope she responded better than Adam did when he said, "Hey, blank blank." Get out of here.
Blank face.
Blank face.
That's Mr. Blank Face.
Who, by the way, is a highly intelligent human being, and made contact with us after we talked about him.
Oh, Reed. Reed, no, I had a nice chat with him. I reached out to him. He was very, I see good things for him if he wants to be.
Well, hopefully he doesn't have to face that again. But no.
Mr. F face.
Yeah.
Oh, is it F? Oh, I meant to say blank. Whatever.
Blank face.
I'm sure you can read between the lines.
F blank. Sounds like a musical term.
If you want to know the true story, just listen into the Free for All.
Yeah, Foosball Free for All. That was episode number 1.
Yes.
Oh wow, we really hit the ground running there, didn't we?
Let's talk. So I mean, this is. I know we're talking about World Cup right now, but let's talk because I think some people are a little confused about what the free for all means or what it is. It's yet another product, I guess you could say, underneath the Foosball radio umbrella. But Foosball Free for All there's no guests, there's no specific topics. It's the four of us. So it's Adam and Clay, myself, and Midori Kimura, and we kind of just talk about stuff. Yes, foosball comes up, but there's no guarantee that that's what you're going to hear. So if you're looking for something just a little a diversion from your usual.
Just say divisive. If you're looking for something to argue about,
there you go. Something really controversial. No, we don't intentionally be controversial. We're just ourselves, as if we're at a foosball tournament together and catching up after not seeing each other.
It's the conversations we've all had at tournaments. It just so happens that we're recording them. It's no interviews, there's no guests, there's no restrictions, no rules, no none of that. It's just chatting.
So check it out if you haven't happened to check it out. By all means, download it and listen in and give us some feedback on that because we'd love to hear that.
We're going to read your feedback on air.
We are.
Laugh at it,
and I'm going to charge $10 per gripe.
No, it's
I like that.
Truly, it's an experiment, and hey, we're just having some fun, man. By the way, we last week we blew taps for the top 5, which has been a feature here on FoosTalk Live for what? I don't know, 110 episodes, 112 episodes.
I thought you were going to say years.
Felt like
years. Yeah,
that's where you're going.
And so that's gone for now. It's cold storage. And so we're kind of talking about stuff, what to do, what would be fun to try. And somebody came up with just well, why don't we do something like what's hot and what's not? Something like that. So we can all kind of participate. So here we go. We'll try this out and see. We'll trot it out for you tonight and see if you think it's worth holding on to. Just a quick little preparation for this one, but what's hot and what's not on FoosTalk Live. So here we go. So this is the way it works. Essentially, we have topics, and we're going to determine what's hot and what's not. So, okay. First topic, guys. What's hot and what's not? First of the series of topics. Canning your own preserves, hot or not? Clay,
are we just blurting it out, or are we going in order here?
Clay, you go first. Canning your
own
preserves.
I couldn't possibly care less. It's so I don't trust anyone who cans their own fruit.
Oh. Now, I happen to have a slightly different opinion when it comes to, I think this is medium warm. It's not hot, but it's medium warm because...
You're going with the or? The first hot or not, and you're going with or?
But you said you don't even care, Clay, so neither one of you two are playing by these rules. I don't even understand.
Okay, I'm poking jokes because I know what the answer is on the other side, but I actually think it's cool if you're into it, but I like the consistency of a factory making something that I'm going to put in my mouth.
If we're talking about survival of the fittest here, and you really truly, if the grocery store runs out of canned peaches next week, this is great because you have your own stash, man. You'll never have to worry about that.
Right?
Am I correct, Adam?
43 years.
No, I think that's fair. No, and I don't. But for me, it's not hot right now. It's not. I don't want to do any canning until next summer. You don't hold 60 pounds of peaches and deal with it on your own by yourself in 25 pounds of sugary death water want to do it again. I mean, I love it. It's a labor of love. But to be really honest with you, I don't even do it for like doomsday prepper reasons or anything. Like, I like the artistry of it.
Okay.
It lets me focus. But the main thing that I do is they make nice presents.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm that kind of person, I don't like getting somebody some generic thing from Amazon.com unless they specifically ask for it. So I like to make things like make, barbecue sauce and can it and give it to them or steak and that kind of stuff.
Well, I'm sure.
So I'm going to say, not hot now, but definitely will be hot by, say, March.
Will be hot. Okay. All right.
Trending
in the hot direction when it comes to the fall or winter, that kind of thing. All right. So the next topic. This one is foosball oriented, by the way. The elimination of the distraction rule. Hot or not? Hot.
Ooh, hot. Ooh. And not for the reason,
Lottie,
that it's been. It's not for the reason that's going to be talked about 47,000 times in Mark Torres bingo, where you cross off a thing every time. I so agree with the idea of the distraction rule just being tossed in the trash.
Just get rid of
it. It's not. Get rid of the parts of it that don't matter. So if I'm shooting and if I'm like grunting in the middle of a shot, don't say that that's the reason you didn't block it. Or if you lose a ball on your 5-bar because I went, sniffed and wiped or because I wiped my hand off. You took your hand off the rod. I'm distracted. I'm distracted because you're wiping it. Shut up. The distraction rule in foosball is so lame. And if you can't play through me scratching my face, stop playing foosball.
Okay.
Go play Connect 4. Learn how to play chess. And by the way, play online because you're going to get distracted in person, there too. I think that the distraction rule is silly. And I'm so excited about the idea that it's not going to exist. Not because I want to talk trash, because that's whatever. None of that. But I love the idea of me taking ownership of my ability to play through whatever nonsense is across the table.
Man,
what is the distraction rule?
So the distraction rule is that you are not allowed during the play of a match to speak to your partner. You're not allowed to say something out loud like, oh, you're not, when someone else has possession of the ball, you can't make any kind of exclamation that would affect their concentration.
Why?
That's just a part of the rule, though. That's not
that's just part of it.
I mean, there's some parts that are reasonable, right? Are there not? There's got to be. Like, you don't throw a chinchilla in somebody's face.
You can't do that in the middle of a shot.
Whoa.
You can't. You can't do that.
Sure, but like talking seems reasonable to me.
Yeah.
Being pumped up. I was telling Clay the other day what I used to do when I was so focused, but this was right before right when I was about to shoot. As I was shooting, I would do my shouting yap thing because I knew it was going to go in, but it hadn't actually gone in yet. But I knew it was going to go in, and there's no way in any situation, like they're not Spider-Man, they would have never been able to react. There was no way I scared them out the hole.
But you're the one shooting, and so and now technically somebody could say if they're blocking your shot that you startle them and they pulled out of the
I just
way.
don't believe it. I don't think in any world that's actually possible. But I get it. Like, whatever. I don't know. So wait, is that a distraction? Because I wasn't even doing it on purpose. I was just fired up.
No.
Should that be a distraction or not?
No. Because how many players do we know over the years, and including somebody like Cindy Head, who really, she's yelling the whole time.
But she does it after the fact.
After the fact, exactly.
Right.
So that let's say if we're playing partners, I'm on defense and you're playing front, and I want to pass to the wall, for my 2-rod to the far wall. If I just say wall and did that, would that be a distraction?
I mean, by the rules, yes, but by human activity, no. I mean, the rules say that that's illegal, and I'm saying that rule is stupid.
Right.
Because
man, if you get distracted by that, you are not playing a game. You are playing rules, and there's no other competitive thing outside of tennis. They actually argue about this in tennis. They're still grunting when it's my turn to hit the ball. Shut up.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's because you suck. Like there's no other sport where that's a thing. Like in basketball, dude, in football, in American football, you can get to the line and do what's a hard count as the quarterback in an attempt to draw the defense off sides.
Right.
And you're using your voice to try to influence them to make a mistake. I think I should be able to set the ball up on my 3 and go, hey, I'm going pull side in 3, 2, 1, and then go push side instead.
So wait a minute, because hold on, I'm saying hot. I'm liking this.
Hot.
Yes.
Because I've heard about this, but I didn't know what the actual context was, because I'm not a rules person. Don't come to me for rules. Don't come to me for grammar. Don't talk to me when I haven't had coffee. My question is, this is happening at the beatdown? They are for open doubles there?
Every event that I'm aware of, definitely open doubles, possibly more.
Yeah.
They are removing the distraction rule. And the intent and the way that it's being sold, and this might be why you've heard it this way, is that it's about trash talking. Well, foosball is boring. Let's make it spicy, which might be part of the thing there. And I'm down with, like, if you want to talk trash while we play, it's whatever. You can't make me lose based on how you talk. Right. You can only be better than me.
No.
Right. That's your only option.
Smack talk, I fear not.
Yeah, so there will be smack talk because that's how it's being sold. But yeah,
now I want to play at the beatdown. I was just gonna
right,
because I love that. That's how I grew up playing.
You can also buy timeouts. So
well, that's not an official rule though. That's just more like something that they do that happened once last year that nobody enforced.
However, I do believe that does have some validity to it, in the sense that we could institute that as, let's say, a general rule for DYPs. If you're in a DYP and things are getting really tough and you really feel like you got to have that timeout, you can say, hey, listen, I'm going to put $10 up to buy a timeout. Something like that.
Well, the problem with that is it's funny and it's quirky and it makes it funny. It's fun to talk about after the fact.
Mm-hmm.
But anytime you influence a game with money, it's not okay. That's called pay to play. And so if I show up and I have a lot of extra money, because I have money and I'm not broke, and I didn't use my last $20 at breakfast this morning, I'm at a disadvantage if I'm broke.
Right.
And I think that's the reason. But it's free to talk.
Okay.
By the way, I'll read the actual distraction rule if you'd like.
Please.
It says any movement or sound, including phones and electronic devices, that's made away from or behind the rod where the ball is in play may be judged as a distraction. So even if I'm set up on the 3-bar and my goalie wiggles right when I shoot, that could be a distraction because it's behind the ball.
That's something I wasn't even aware of, and I've done that before playing foosball.
Oh, yeah. I always tell
as a goalie.
Yeah, so there's a lot of things, and that's a dumb rule. It may be considered a distraction if the opponent taps the table as a gesture of apology or approval during play. Another reason that table tapping is wrong. It's actually illegal. It could be ruled a distraction. If a player believes he is being distracted, it is his responsibility to call a ref. And then it goes into some examples like banging the 5-man prior to a shot, talking between teammates while the ball is in play, and some other things. And to me, anything that doesn't physically change my ability to play foosball, anything should be allowed. So if I have the ball and you're bumping the table, that's not okay.
Mm-hmm.
I shouldn't have to deal with that.
Right.
If you're jarring the table, that's not okay. But if I have the ball set up and my opponent is saying, "Man, I saw a picture of your mom when she was 30." Man, like, to me, that is not okay morally, but in the competition, I should not be able to say that's not allowed.
Right.
I think that's weak.
Right.
And I think if you're affected by sounds, I think you're weak.
Well, I mean, if you play in any particular place across the country, like a pool hall, or you're playing in a bar, whatever, there's a lot of noise, man.
Exactly.
Right? So
I can't play because the music's too loud. I can't play because the music's too quiet. Like, both of those are complaints that people have at foosball tournaments.
Right. Wow. Go figure.
It's ridiculous. By the way, we have some stellar input from the chat tonight.
Leap and Lou is on fire right now.
Hot. Leap and Lou, hot or not? Hot.
Hot. Yeah, that's a unanimous hot.
Mark wearing a bow tie in France, hot or not?
Oh, Tom's got a hot.
I would say no. That's
not.
not.
That is not.
That is not hot.
Oh, dude. Okay, here's the next one. Hot or not? Boba tea?
Not. I'd rather drink a Coke, throw it up, and re-drink that same Coke than to drink boba tea.
Yeah,
we lost Tom there for a minute.
That was out of left field, but yeah, I mean, that's expressing yourself quite well, I have to say.
And I like Leap and Lou says that they do not even like them asking him if he is ready.
Yeah, no talking during play. Don't even ask me if I'm ready. That's actually hilarious. And I will ask you twice now if I ever play Leap and Lou.
That's good stuff. Who is Leap and Lou? I don't know. And if you want to be anonymous, go ahead. But if not,
you're free to be anonymous. And if you're free to de-anonymize yourself, hey.
But we know he's hot, right? So he's definitely
so far in the chat, the comments have been hot. I don't know if he or she.
Actually, Tom, it's been fire.
On
fire.
Now we talked about this in the free-for-all. This term, fire. What? I mean,
it's like cool,
but it's fire. It's the opposite. So how could it be?
Well, cool doesn't mean cool.
Well,
literally.
Yeah, I suppose. Well, I guess.
I mean, when you see like a Sports Illustrated swimsuit edition, you look at the cover. What's the first word you usually think?
Oh, hot.
Yeah, fire.
Fire.
But is it physically warm? No.
I guess it depends upon what part of your anatomy we're talking about.
What's the next question, Tom?
Topic? Oh yes. Hot or not? Hot or not? Cryptocurrency.
Oh well, I'm gonna say.
I'm not even gonna. Want to put it that
way. Let me check my Coinbase app that I downloaded. I thought I'd throw $50 at it for funsies, even though I find cryptocurrency to be morally repugnant.
Right.
And I.
Mm-hmm.
Hit me again, Tom. Come on. What you got?
Anyways.
Ooh. Oh. Get this thing back on the. Yeah, man. I love doing that to you. Okay. And this is pre-recorded, by the way.
All right, I'm done.
See, oh well. All right.
So we have
cryptocurrency not.
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 And I'm down 30%,
You're down
70%.
30%.
Yeah,
Way
not.
more.
Yeah, not.
I don't even understand it. Why would somebody do that? Cryptocurrency.
Well, people like to gamble, you know. Why would anybody go to Vegas and put money on a roulette wheel?
Well, I don't know.
Because they want to gamble.
What? So it's like, okay, here's a bottle. I'm going to call this cryptocurrency. You can invest in this bottle, by the way.
That's an NFT.
You just never, well, yeah, you just never know if this is going to go up or not. But, you know, it's worth a gamble.
Yeah. People like to gamble.
Okay.
Same with lottery tickets. People like to gamble.
That reminds me. I had to run down to 7-Eleven. All of my assets right now are liquid. Wait, so are you hot or cold on that, Tom? Or are you just?
I'm totally cold on that. I just
that's a not for me.
I'm a not. Yeah, I do not get that. No. Do not get that. Okay. Hot or not? Multivitamins and supplements.
Scam.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Ooh.
I see. So not. I see. There's no evidence anywhere ever at all, except for maybe zinc that one time for that one cousin. What? Where'd he go? Oh,
just blowing my nose.
Okay.
People who can't see this and they're only listening to the podcast when it goes up tomorrow or tonight or whenever don't know what you just did or what you're talking about.
Yeah, we're looking at each other. Yeah. So no, I'm gonna say not.
Not.
Yeah, I think it's one of those things. You know how when you get gas in your car and you can pour in like octane booster or something like that, and they're like, this will give you an extra 3 miles a gallon, and then it doesn't. But it does give you some level of quantifiable efficiency improvement. Like there technically is something better, and it may only be 0.5% instead of 5%, but it's not zero. So that's how I feel about multivitamins. I do think it's a scam in the loose sense of the word, and that people will take them thinking that it does on a scale of 1 to 10. They'll think it's doing like a 5 or 6, and really it's doing like less than 1. But it's more than 0, I think.
Interesting.
Yeah, no, I would agree with that. It becomes a scam when you have those people out there that, you know, have their friends over and then they have them sell it to them, and then, you know,
take this and your eyes will change colors. Have you always wanted to be blue-eyed?
Their business model starts here and it looks like this.
What you're doing, you have your fingers, your 2 index fingers together above your forehead, and then you're pulling them down and apart.
Yeah, down
and
and
I
apart.
see an isosceles triangle that you're drawing. Looks awfully close to a pyramid.
Yes.
Multi-level marketing, because they will tell you, it's not a pyramid. It's not a pyramid. Pyramids are illegal. Okay. It's multi-level marketing. Awfully familiar with pyramids. I'm doing pyramids now.
I'll allow
I
it.
really want to go to Egypt and visit the great pyramids.
Yes.
All right. So I'm out on, I think not on multi-level vitamins.
Okay. I'm going to say not. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
You know, just eating fresh fruit and vegetables and stuff like that. I think that's a whole
Eat a banana.
Yeah.
And pizza.
Yeah. Yeah.
And if you don't know how to peel a banana, I know a guy.
I know
a guy named Uncle Papa who will teach you how to peel a banana.
Oh, I've seen that video, by the way.
Cool.
Yeah.
As everybody should. It's a masterpiece. Uncle Papa. 63 minutes, 63 seconds of pure wisdom.
I think what you should do is post that link for people on the chat room, you know, for Twitch. So
sure,
they can see it for
I'll
themselves.
go find it right now.
Yeah, let them know.
Okay. Okay. Hot or not? The World Cup competition. Hot or not?
I gotta say not. I've never been less interested in a major competition than I was this weekend. And it bums me out because I wanted so bad to cheer. And there were only like 3 matches where that happened. And then the rest of the time I was whatever. Okay. You know, I don't speak German.
All right. So Adam,
you just asked if the competition was hot or not?
World Cup competition. Is it a hot thing? I mean, is it hot? Is it?
Oh, you mean the
event or the physical appearance of the
competition?
Competition
looked hot.
Yeah.
Oh, competitively it looked hot.
Well, I mean, I gotta say, as a production, and watching and seeing, what I saw on online, it looked like an amazing place to be because of, I mean, the spectators, the way the room was set up. They had some, great lighting effects, which I thought was really,
it looked good.
Yeah, they spent some money on that.
Yeah, no, all the you could see the energy. There was so much energy there from all the different, not just from their production end, but also just all the videos that people were posting. Like, you can tell how good an event it is by how many videos people are posting of it that don't have to be.
Mm-hmm.
People are just stoked to be there. So yeah, that would have been fun to go to.
Oh yeah.
And then I could have gone to France and eaten cured meats.
Cured meats, yeah.
Cured
Some of
meats and cheeses.
the best breakfast meats on the planet,
Absolutely.
in Europe. Oh man. One of the things that I noticed when I visited my sister in Germany, this is a while ago, but yeah, every breakfast they serve some kind of sausage or salami or cheese, which is just sliced up and you eat it that way. I thought that was really intriguing, and it was a good way to kind of get your day fortified, and just a really interesting
and you
idea.
get your day fortified and nitrated.
Right. Nitrates.
Nitrated.
Is it nitrates or nitrites?
Both nitrate and nitrite. One's a byproduct of the other one.
Oh, I see.
I'm into curing.
Oh, that's it. I keep forgetting you're the, yeah. So Adam, what okay, here's the next hot or not. Barbecue meats. Hot or not? Clay?
That's the easiest hot there's ever been. I'm in Texas. Barbecue's a religion here, man. Brisket, sausage, burgers, 4th of July.
Okay.
Hot. Give me a cow.
Give me a cow. Bring it in here.
Give me a pig. Give me a cow.
Get a cow on the phone right now, Tom.
Moo. Hot.
Okay,
yeah,
Adam.
I'm going to say hot, and that's because I got a week's worth of barbecue to catch up. I had bronchitis this last week, so I was down.
Oh.
But this coming week, I brought a Wagyu tri-tip. We got a Wagyu rib something or other, ribeye. And there's a dino rib plate that we got. I'm going to smoke all that.
Oh. Now is it
you okay there, Clay?
How much meat are we talking? I mean, how many pounds of food there?
Like 8 pounds of pork and 8 pounds, 9, 10, 12, 14.
That'll feed the family.
Close to 20-ish.
20 pounds.
Yeah, but not all at one time. Like
and how much time does the average, let's say, pork butt take?
Oh, I don't do pork butts. So, but those take long. Those can be anywhere from 8 to 12 to 13 hours, depending on how freaky you want to get.
13 hours.
Yeah, briskets can be 18 hours, depending. Yeah.
What happens in the 18th hour that wasn't already there in the 17th hour? Like, if you pull that out an hour early, what really happens?
Yeah, I was always curious.
That's a really good question. I mean, what it really comes down to at that point is you're rendering all the fat. You want the fat to gelatinize. Mm-hmm. And so when you have a brisket that's been there for 14 hours and you bite into it and it's moist and wet and whatever, it ain't because there's water in it.
Right.
It is completely dehydrated by 180 degrees. You cook it that long so that it's about 203-ish, not true, but a 203-ish throughout. So that means that all the fat has been rendered properly so that when you cut into it, it's covered in the fat that has been gelatinized and turned into basically a jelly, a hot jelly. And that's what makes it taste rich and moist and unctuous.
This is, what do they call it? The crust or whatever on the top of the meat.
That's the bark. No, I'm talking about the inside.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
But also to answer that question, 18 hours might be overkill, depending on what it is you're doing. But the reason why it takes that long is because you're doing it theoretically low and slow at a lower temperature.
Okay.
And at the lower temperature allows that to render properly. You might want to kick it up a little bit here and there, but that's more in the details. But the larger point is that it takes that long because you're cooking it slow so that it cooks properly, and you have a much wider window for it to cook in, so that if you blast it at 350 degrees, you have to, like an avocado, it's got to be ripe and you've got that 1 hour to eat it, right?
Yeah.
And it just can't really be done at that high temperature.
So, okay. Now, I will say hot when it comes to barbecue, obviously. Now, there's this misnomer, this misunderstanding, I think, of among people who don't live in New York State, that there's no good barbecue in New York State. There absolutely is. In fact, in my hometown, a place called Brooks Barbecue, It's the only location, but they've been around since the 60s. And it's been basically the same chicken recipe they've used, for the entire time. You can still go there and get a full meal for like $10. But it's the barbecue is they're charcoal pits, and they do this chicken. They paint or baste the meat as it's cooking on these racks, and they just basically dump the barbecue sauce on it as it's cooking, and it's vinegar based, sort of like a North Carolina style.
That is, yeah.
But
that is that style.
Oh, it's
sounds good to me.
Yeah, it's amazing. But and when people come to that area in central New York, it's in a place called Oneonta. When people go there, that's like the first thing they do is go to that place, and it's always packed, always.
Yeah, I'm looking at it right now. Looks good.
Oh yeah. But now the best thing is they refuse to open other stores. They'll never franchise. But what they do is they cater. So they'll take up big trucks, and they'll set up a full barbecue pit in your local fire department or your local high school, and then sell the chicken right there from the parking lot. And when people hear about it, of course they flock there just to, and it doesn't matter, yeah, you'll wait an hour sometimes just to pick up your meal, but it's worth it because it's that good.
Yeah, that's awesome.
But
fire stations, hot or not?
Yeah, hot. Yeah,
you think of
highly necessary.
What?
you think a fire station has ever burnt down?
Probably.
How do you think that? I gotta look that up.
I mean, when fire trucks were first created, they were like steam locomotives, and of course they were using the pressure of the steam to get those things from place to place. So I'm sure those things probably caught on fire.
I mean, they have to. I mean, if they're a building and there's people often living in it, they're prone to all the same things that happen to other buildings that catch on fire, like somebody leaving their oven on, or
yeah, it's the ultimate
trying
irony.
trying to dry their socks in the microwave.
Right.
December 12th, 2011, San Manuel, Texas. A fire destroyed a Texas firehouse Saturday while firefighters were attending a Christmas party in a nearby town.
Ooh. Very interesting.
Man, that had to suck.
Yeah, no kidding.
That just sucked. Yeah, that had to have sucked. Yeah. You got any more for us, Tom?
I don't actually. I don't actually have any others that I've chosen, but I'm curious as to what you guys think of this. Is it fun? Is it something is it hot or not? Do we keep this feature?
Oh, I'm down. I think it's fun. I mean, you could probably just pile them up, or even take. I like the interaction, the input from chat. I think you could take this you could have a list of 100 of these.
Okay.
And do this next week, and then if you could go rapid fire, no pun intended, with the fire hot, blah blah blah.
Okay.
You could just all the way down, and then stop at points where there's something to say, and you like not every can't milk all of them.
Yeah.
And I think you probably
Well,
so I think this is definitely a candidate for a second edition next week.
Awesome.
For sure.
Well, there you have it. There is the first edition of Hot or Not. Okay, here's a quick trivia question. First of all, who are the artists that we just heard there? Quick snippets, 10 seconds, legal.
Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers, and Enya.
Ooh, Clay?
Not.
Do you know who they are?
I don't.
Okay, the first one is Buster Poindexter.
I was say Buster Rhymes. Like, what the? I don't think so.
He was in a band called New York City Dolls many years ago. But Buster Poindexter had a huge MTV hit with "Hot, Hot, Hot." 1986.
Oh, you ought to use that for many years. Yes. I've heard it a bazillion times.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
And the second was much further back, 1973, I think it was. But Jerry Reed. He was a kind of a country novelty act back in. He was from Texas, in fact. who had a lot of novelty hits, and that was "When You're Hot, You're Hot. When You're Not, You're Not."
Yeah.
So thank goodness to Buster Poindexter and Jerry Reed, and we'll play with stuff like this. There's all kinds of songs we could make use of.
Leaping Lou says, "Hot or not, Lexington, Kentucky."
Oh, love it, Lou. I'm not going to go there first. How about you?
Oh, screw Lexington, Kentucky, all the way. I don't care anything about that. I love it. Like, it's beautiful as a place to be, and to drive through the countryside there. I love it as a person who is there.
Yes.
As a foosball player who is given the option to go there, and play foosball, I don't think that's the best foosball destination in the world.
Okay.
And I think Nationals got to really they got a break by the World Cup happening right after it, because nobody's really talking about how awful it was.
Right. It was.
But Lexington, Kentucky is not a place to have 3 tournaments a year. But outside of foosball, I love Lexington.
Yeah, that was beautiful.
It is absolutely beautiful.
This is bluegrass or
the whole damn state.
Yeah, it's
beautiful.
Horse racing country.
Yeah.
Kentucky
and there's
Derby.
actual bluegrass there.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I didn't know that. I mean, like the grass that's blue.
So hot or not, Adam? What do you think?
Well, I think it's a great destination. So hot in that regard. I enjoyed it when I was there. Bought some nice bourbon. But it's very difficult to get to. What?
Yeah, you bought some bourbon while you were there.
Oh yeah, with Tornado Championships, the first thing I did was I got my Uber and I said we have to stop by a liquor store because I want to get some bourbon. I got to get some of that Kentucky bourbon.
What kind you get?
Yeah, I don't know. I have no idea. All I know is I went straight in and walked up to the top shelf and I saw the thing in a box and I was like, no, not that. And then I went a shelf down and then I saw the stuff that was
got it.
$40 range.
Top
like,
shelf, not hot.
Not hot. Top shelf,
yeah,
not hot. Medium shelf, yes. Just put some ice on it. Look, I mean, I don't drink bourbon that often, but when I do, it's going to be like reasonably affordable.
Right.
That reminds me of the Dos Equis, the way that you said that. I don't always drink beer, but when I do, I choose Dos Equis. I don't always drink. I don't know. I do more Dracula than I am. I was going to say. I don't know. Wasn't... 1 X. Dos Equis.
I am the most interesting vampire in the world.
Tune in next week for another episode of Hot or Not.
But I don't like the hot. It's right out there.
Yeah. There you go.
Well, Leapin' Lou, thank you so much for that suggestion. I would say, okay, Lexington, Kentucky as a destination, as a location, yeah, it's great. Especially the lounge at the airport, the bar there was a lot of fun.
Oh, that's a good memory.
Yeah, that was a great place to hang out. So I'll say that's hot. The location for foosball, I'm kind of in Clay's circle there. Could be better. Could be better. Not so hot.
It could be better. It could not be much worse.
Right. Well, so okay, there we have it.
What was that sound?
That was the Clay sound, by the way.
Yeah,
that was
hot or not.
Oh, wait a minute. Wait a minute, I forgot.
I like the segment though. I do like the segment.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll do it again.
I got to do a quick shout out for another results that I forgot to mention.
Oh.
Yeah, the World Cup, obviously the women's over 50 singles. Christina Fuchs bronzed in that, which is awesome. But there was a great showing by the U.S. ladies. Shelley Langley and Deanna Newton got 5th, whatever that is, 5th through 8th, respectively, and 9th, 12th was Amy Powers and Carla Wolverton. So good job, y'all.
Yeah, no, they are again great players, and we're up against some fierce competition and did very, very well. To finish in the top 5 of the World Cup is an accomplishment, regardless. That's and especially to walk home with a medal. That to be admired.
I'd like to see a movement in foosball where people stop saying 5th through 8th place. This is not about you, Adam, saying that. I'm just saying that's how we say that, the 5th through 8th, when it's actually 4 people tied for 5th place. And so It's a single elimination format downfall kind of thing where you have first, second.
I see what you're saying.
And then if third and fourth play for consolation, you have third and fourth, and then it's like 5th through 8th, but it's actually 5th place.
Mm-hmm.
Would you prefer if they just took those separate groups and had them play in a finals?
Oh God, I'm triggered.
He's been triggered. Look out.
I'm gonna choke on it. I'm glad you're coughing right now. You deserve that.
Step away from the microphone.
I'm
This
sorry.
is so hard to do.
Why do I do this?
G-rated language right now, by the way.
Why
I'm
do
used to. I don't know why.
Consarn it.
Consarn it. Hey, if you want to hear it, well, no, I think 5th through 8th, and then 9th through 12th, and all that stuff. Just call it 5th place, call it 9th place, And if you finish, tied for 5th with 4 other people, it's the top 8. Like I get that, it's fine, it's no big deal.
Yeah.
But like how'd you do it? Texas State? I got 24th through 32nd. Like, what are you talking about, dude? That doesn't make sense. I hate the way that sounds.
It does sound stupid when you think about it, doesn't it?
It does.
You make it to the top 32. No, I got 33 through 48. No, you didn't. It sounds like you're referencing the Bible. I got Foosball 33, 48. Please turn to distractions. Turn to your Bible to distractions, chapter 33, verses 48. I hate it. Just say you got 30. Actually, if you finish 33rd, just say you didn't do very well and save us all the math. I don't really need to do any math. Just tell us you got bounced in like the second round and you're going to try better next year. Don't even say what place you got until like the top 16. And at that point, you got 12th place, you got 9th. No, you got you have 9th. You have 13th place, 13, 14, 15, 16. 13th place, you have 9th place, you have 5th place. And you have 3rd. You're tied for 3rd if you don't play for it, and if you do play for it, you have 4th and 3rd, and then you have 1st and 2nd.
The only other sport The only other sport this happens in is golf. So
I hate golf.
You could be tied at 10 under, and there's 5 players at 10 under at the finish of the tournament. And so,
but they still say tied for it's T5. It's not.
Right.
It's not 5th through 8.
Right, that's true.
17 people tied with 10 under in 5th place. How'd you finish? 5th through 17 or 5th through 26 or whatever it is. Tiger was a low weekend for you. Oh, no, some Tiger Woods. I finished 19th through 24th. Shut up. Yeah. Well, so that's how I really feel.
We are clarified here. Absolutely clarified on the rules. Yes. Thank you, Clay.
My pleasure. It's what I'm here for.
So, incidentally, next week we'll be back with Jim Stevens. Jim will be with us, and we'll be getting things back on the rails. By the way, but Jim will be here. Mark possibly. I know they're both off in different places celebrating the 4th of July. Happy 4th of July, and thank you so much for taking the time to tune into FoosTalk Live. I know you've got other things you'd probably like to pay attention to. But hey, it's great to have you along. Guys, what parting shots would you like to impart?
Go ahead. I want everybody at the next tournament I see you at to have all of your fingers and hands and whatnot intact that you start with tomorrow.
Ooh, yes. In other words, let the professionals worry about the fireworks.
No, I just meant be careful barbecuing.
Oh.
No. I mean,
have you lost a finger barbecuing anytime in the last... couple years?
I would. Oh no, nobody's offered me $1 billion to eat any one of my fingers.
A toe. Now that's a different deal.
No, for $1 billion, that's mine. But as Clay pointed out. Anyways, go ahead, Clay.
I'm going to go the rare serious route here. I usually don't. So funny enough, I don't celebrate my birthday. So tomorrow I'm actually going to be working, and I'm not anti-birthday and I'm not anti-America. It's just one of those things that it's cool. Thanks for the happy birthday. But for my birthday, I'm giving you a suggestion, the listener. Find Tom on Facebook. Shoot him a message and tell him how much you like this. I know how many people download this every week. And I know how many of you listen to this all the time. And I get messages all the time from people who listen to Shooting the Shot, Foosball Free for All, Foosball, or FoosTalk Live. Even when I'm not on here, I get so many messages, and I try to shoot screenshots when I get them. But find Tom, please. Tom Robinson. He's easy to find. If you can't find him, find me, Clay Toomey, and I'll tell you how to find him. Send him a message.
info@foosballradio.com. That's a simple one.
Yeah. For those of you who are pre-2022, send an email.
Yeah.
And I thought that was a joke. I thought it was a funny joke. Find Tom Robinson somewhere. And even if you say, hey, this is my weekly check-in to say thank you and nothing else, let this man know how much the Foosball radio channel means to you, because newsflash, when Tom ain't here, this don't happen. Mark is in Europe. Jim is on a trip. I might not be here sometimes. Adam might not be. Anybody that's here can miss, and this thing still goes on. Tom doesn't show up. It doesn't happen. And to be honest, I'm a little disappointed at how few people actually reach out and say thanks. Wow. And I know at a tournament, you're going to walk up and say, man, I love the podcast. That's awesome. Keep doing that. Just don't wait for that. Do it now. And if you need an excuse, it's my birthday. Give me a birthday present by messaging Tom and saying, hey, I give a damn. And thank you, because before this, nothing existed. So thank you. And I'm out. Happy birthday to me.
Where did that come
43
from?
years.
That was.
I'm telling you, that's from my heart, man. That is not BS. I get so annoyed with how much positivity I get, and I feel like nobody else does. I don't know, man. I don't think you get it, Tom, because people aren't telling you. So God dang it, gosh, God sarn it. Let this man know how big of a deal this is. And if you don't like it, then don't download it. But if you do like it and you do download it, let this man know, hey, man, I appreciate it. Thank you. Wow. Thank you for this free content. Thank you, Tom, for paying money to give me free content that I listen to every week. Wow. Thank you.
Okay. You're welcome. Well, with that, I guess we'll wrap it, and we'll say good night and happy 4th of July. Let's get back together again for FoosTalk Live Sunday nights, 9:00 on FoosTalk Live. Hope to catch you next time. FoosTalk Live proudly presents a weekly update of events near you with the FoosTalk Live Tournament Beat. Here's what's up. Don't miss the next 518 Foosball Smashdown, Saturday, July 9th, Trick Shot Billiards and Wicked Eatery, Route 9, Clifton Park, New York. The South Florida Foosball Club proudly presents the 2022 Beachtown Beatdown, July 15th through 17th, Lilo Street Food and Bar, Lake Worth Beach, Florida. Two Gun Promotions presents the 2022 $10,000 No Pro Nationals, July 15th through 17th. At Magoo's 5002 South Memorial, Tulsa, Oklahoma. Don't miss the $12,000 Mississippi State Foosball Championships, August 5th through 7th. Holiday and Pearl, 110 Bass Pro Drive, Pearl, Mississippi. It's the first annual Ozark Open, Sunday, August 15th, 2588 North Gregg Street, Fayetteville, Arkansas. Here comes the 2022 $100,000 Tornado Championships of Professional Foosball, August 31st through September 5th. The Clarion Hotel, 1950 Newtown Pike, Lexington, Kentucky. It's the 2022 $10,000 Michigan State Foosball Championship, sponsored by Foos Gadgets. September 30th through October 2nd at the Hilton Garden Inn, Lansing West, Lansing, Michigan. The South Florida Foosball Club proudly presents Thunderdome 2, coming in October of 2022. Listen for more details. Each week, we do our best to give you the most up-to-date listing of foosball tournaments near you. If you have an event you would like to add, send us all the details at info@foosballradio.com. Tune in every week for the FoosTalk Live Foosball Beat. FoosTalk Live is a product of Inside Foos, all rights reserved. Brought to you in part by InsideFoos.com, Protectoflex, Rodlock, 518 Prince, Foosballers the Movie, the USTSO, and Foosball Clubs USA. Tune in again next week for another episode of FoosTalk Live. In the meantime,
we'll see you foozin'.